What is up, everyone? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A all about drop shipping onto different marketplaces like eBay and Facebook Marketplace. As always, I'm your host, Paul J Lipsky. I make a ton of videos here on YouTube all about how to drop ship, make money online. Usually we're talking about how to drop ship onto eBay and Facebook Marketplace. So if you're looking to start an online business, start a side hustle that you can do from home, you can do while traveling, you can do after work on the weekends, this is the perfect channel for you because we talk all about different ways to do that, and some people are making full-time income doing this stuff as well. So let me jump into the chat. This hour is just kind of a chance for me to just off the cuff answer any questions that you are here with. So make sure to subscribe to the channel first and then jump to the live chat, ask me any questions, say hi first, let me know where you're coming in from, and then I'll do my best to answer these questions for you. George wants to know, hey, Paul, can I drop ship from multiple states? I'm kind of scratching my head, not quite sure what you mean by that, George. So with drop shipping, the way that this works is we are listing up products for sale on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace. Now, once these items sell, we then purchase them from our supplier. And our supplier we might have one in one state, one in another state, one in a different state, and they might actually have warehouses all throughout the United States. Like for Facebook Marketplace, for instance, we use a lot of retail websites. Like we're drop shipping from Walmart. And Walmart has warehouses all throughout the United States. So yes, that's the way that it works. I'm not quite sure exactly what you're asking, but hopefully that answers the question for you. The supplier, once we order it from them, will ship it directly to the customer. We never have to touch or handle the inventory, and returns go right back there too. We don't have to worry about returns either. John has a bunch of questions about Facebook Marketplace dropshipping. Well, hope I can answer them for you. I'll do my best. Okay, Haley says, okay, if I start drop shipping on eBay and I sell the product, when it sells and I buy it on Walmart, is eBay okay with Walmart or will they suspend you? Great question. And I think you have a follow-up question. Let me see if we should get to that. Okay, we'll get to that one next. So Haley, technically in eBay's rules, it states that drop shipping is allowed, but drop shipping from retail websites is not allowed according to their terms of service. So what we have found is that what you can do is do wholesale drop shipping. That is allowed. It's not specifically forbidden. So with wholesale drop shipping, we are buying the items directly from wholesale suppliers, getting better rates on them, building a better relationship. It's allowed by eBay. There are some extra steps to get set up, but it's well worth it. It's a really good business model once you get that up and running. So that, if you want to be totally compliant with the rules, that is what you want to do, wholesale drop shipping. Now, with that said, so many people still do retail drop shipping. And what happened was when eBay first made that rule, people were getting in trouble for doing it. And getting in trouble basically meant that any of the listings that they found out were being drop shipped from another retail website, eBay would lower those in the search results, those listings. We haven't really seen them doing that in the past 8 months to a year. All of a sudden, they stopped doing it. They got more relaxed with that rule. Could they always enforce it again later? Certainly. They certainly could. But lots of us are still doing it, and we're not seeing the same kind of punishment that eBay was doing before of lowering people in the search results. Now, the good news is that if you join my course, my eBay dropshipping course, I teach you how to do both. You can learn how to dropship both with retail websites and with wholesale suppliers. I show you how to get set up with wholesale suppliers, how to form those connections, all of that stuff. And then you can choose for yourself. I give you all the information, tell you the pros and cons of each, and you can decide for yourself if you want to do retail dropshipping or wholesale dropshipping or both. And it's really up to you at that point. Okay, Haley says, also, I am confused. When I start getting sales, what do I have to work on every day? Do I have to work long hours? So if you want to grow your business, then you do want to put in as much time as you can. And that's primarily going to be focused on adding new products. That's really the most important thing, is to add new products and the right products into your store. So that is what I would focus on as a new seller in order to grow. Things like fulfilling orders, that goes pretty fast. A lot of people get hung up on this, but if you get an order in and you have to fulfill it, all you have to do is buy the item from your supplier. So if your supplier is like Walmart, well, you can go into Walmart right now and buy an item for yourself. It's a very simple checkout process. And I'm sure some of you have used Walmart. I'm sure a lot of you have used Amazon. It's pretty much the same thing. It's a very easy checkout process. And that's all you're going to do to fulfill orders. It's really pretty quick. And with wholesale suppliers, it's even easier because all you're going to do is email them. Some of them do have a portal online that makes the checkout process pretty much the same thing as checking out on Walmart. But yeah, a lot of them will actually just have you email them. So you can email them. That's even easier because then you can just put it into one email and send it to them. So that's a very, very simple process. And you can hire virtual assistants to do that and to help you with customer service and all of that. But really the focus should be on adding new products. As you scale up, once you start to get down the system, then certainly you want to hire virtual assistants to do all of that for you, or just one really to do all of that for you, to be able to spend less time on it yourself, or you can spend less time doing kind of the maintenance and more time adding products, or whatever it is that you want to do, how focused you are with the business. Evan, I think your message got cut off there. They had changed the platform. Not sure what that means. Yeah, Evan, I think if your message is too long, it gets cut off. Okay. What happens if I have a day off, says Haley? How would that work? So you can certainly take a day off. And when I first started, I don't think I ever really took a day off in the beginning because I was trying to figure it all out. But there were days I would take off. I think I usually took off like Sunday. And you could be more than fine, especially if you hire virtual assistants. They can come in and fulfill orders while you're not there. I wouldn't recommend you ever put your eBay store on vacation mode. That's not to say you can't go on vacation, but eBay has specifically something called vacation mode. And with vacation mode, it's supposed to kind of stop your sales. But the problem is a lot of people have complained that if they turn their store on vacation mode, the sales stop as they're supposed to. But then when they turn off vacation mode, sales don't resume at the same intensity that they were before. So something's not right with vacation mode. I wouldn't use it. If you want to go on vacation, best thing to do is just to increase the price of all your items, increase the shipping and handling time. All those things will make it so you get less or even no sales. And then you can have your vacation and then come back and put it all back the way it was to start getting sales again. All right, hang in there, Sabrina. I know you're still looking for the sales and not quite getting them yet. I would really make sure, I would go through the course again, Sabrina, really make sure that you have all your settings correctly. I mean, if you have the wrong shipping and handling time, for instance, that lowers you in the search results if it's too long. So you want to make sure that that's really solid and in there right. And then you want to make sure you're doing good product research, good title optimization, even delete all your items and start over, really to make sure that you have that process down really, really well. That's something that I would recommend if you're not, after a few weeks, not getting any sales. All right, Haley says, should I order a virtual assistant? How do I do that? Well, you don't order them, you kind of like hire them. But yeah, there's plenty of websites where you can do that. I teach my students how to do that, but there's a great website called Online Jobs. Excuse me. I think the link to it is in the description. I have an affiliate link if you wouldn't mind using that. But that's the best website I found to hire virtual assistants from. You get really great virtual assistants from the Philippines. But yeah, there's a whole, in order to find a good one, you really have to go through a whole interview and vetting process. So you really want to make sure that that is down. Again, that's something I teach my students because it's so important to have the right virtual assistant. This is something that I learned, that one great rockstar virtual assistant can replace 5 kind of ordinary virtual assistants. When I first discovered this, when I first found like my rockstar VA, I was blown away by how much she was able to do, and the fact that she just kept asking for more work, to take on more responsibility, and was really able to replace the work of 3 other virtual assistants. So it was like one virtual assistant for instead of having 4. So really, you want to make sure you get that process down of hiring, so you do find one of those rock star virtual assistants that can really help your store out a lot. Because as soon as you free up all that time, now you can focus on other things. You can either say, okay, I'm going to let you, the virtual assistant, take care of all the order processing, the customer service, all kind of like that routine stuff, because I want to focus on growing the business. I want to focus on finding products and listing them up for sale, because that's the most important thing. Or if you find a really good virtual assistant, you could teach them that process, and they can literally do everything to run your store, and you can kind of step back and start a second store, or a store on Facebook, or something on Amazon, and it can free up more of your time. Either way, it's great to use them. Great questions today, Haley. I love it. So I'm confused. Kaylee says, I'm confused about the shipping process. When you get a sale and the person wants it delivered, if you have many sales, how can you go to Walmart and buy the item quickly to satisfy the customers? All right, so I wouldn't stress out about this. So many things seem a lot more scary and overwhelming. That's a better word. More overwhelming than they actually are until you actually get started. Once you actually get started and get into it, you're going to see it's a lot easier because you're actually doing it and learning as you're doing it. I'm guilty of this myself. Whenever I'm starting something new, a new business or something like that, or a new hobby, a new sport, I tend to over-research and over-analyze it beforehand, before I've even really tried it. And that causes me a lot of anxiety. I'm like, wait, how does this work? I'm planning a big hike that I'm going to be going on, and I don't have a ton of experience hiking. So I bought these hiking poles. I'm doing research on like how the hiking poles work. I'm like, wait, I don't get it. Like, you can store them in your backpack, but I don't really get that. Maybe it's a silly example, but I know like I just got to let it go. I've done a ton of research on it. I'm going to get out there, start hiking, and it's just going to come to me. It's just going to be like, oh, okay, this makes total sense. I don't know why I was stressing out about this and over-researching it. Sometimes you just got to get in there and actually start doing it yourself. To really learn how it works and to really see it's a lot simpler to learn when you're actually in there doing it. And it's the same thing with something like this. Fulfilling orders is probably one of the simplest things you can do for your dropshipping business to maintain it, because all you're doing is buying the item from Walmart. Okay? If you wanted an item today from Walmart, you would go on walmart.com and buy it. You would add it to the cart, go through the checkout process, enter in your billing address, your shipping address, and place the order. Same thing, except this time for the shipping address, you don't use your address, you use your buyer's address. That's it. Now, when you get a lot of orders, we still would only place the orders once a day at the end of the day. Now, when I first started, I was excited. Every time I got a sale, I would go and fulfill it right away because I was excited and wasn't getting that many sales at first. But once sales started to pick up pretty quickly, I realized I can't just do that. I can't just stop what I'm doing, drop what I'm doing, and fulfill the orders sporadically throughout the day. So I said, okay, right after dinner every night, I will go on my computer and fulfill all the orders and kind of batch it like that. It was a lot more manageable. And when you batch it like that, it just becomes like a system for you. You just put in the information, fulfill the order, do the next one, do the next one, do the next one, and it goes a lot faster. Everything with learning a new skill, especially with dropshipping, you're going to find the first time you do it, it's going to take you a long time, and maybe even the first few times. But as you get more practice and do it more and more and more and more, you're going to see it goes a lot faster as you gain more experience with it. Relax Energy says, is it safe to sell from Costco onto Facebook and eBay? Yeah, lots of people dropship from Costco onto Facebook and eBay. I don't do it myself. I was looking at doing it. It's something I'm still thinking about, but what I have set up is working. So sometimes I don't want to make it too complicated. But from the problem I've heard is that it's a problem with Costco not really liking it. So if they see you shipping to too many addresses in a month, they'll stop you. They'll say you can't ship to any new addresses from what I've heard. But I know people have found a way around that, but I don't quite know what that is yet because I haven't really dove into it myself. But if you can find a way around that, then you should be good because I see a lot of people drop shipping from Costco. Okay, you having a problem with Auto DS? I cannot copy items on Facebook and my old ones are not updated. So I'm not sure exactly what the issue is there. I would contact AutoDS and ask their support. If it's a problem with the Dropshipping Titans Marketplace helper, the Chrome extension, that's on us. We are updating the Chrome extension right now because there have been some changes, I think, on the AutoDS site. So the Chrome extension wasn't working 100%, but my developer is working on it right now to fix it. So that should be fixed within the next day or so. So hopefully that part's updated, but it may be the case that you aren't using that, in which case you got to contact AutoDS and ask them for help. If you want an alternative, one you can look at is called SKUGrid. SKUGrid is a bit complicated to use, but it does work. So it's not as beginner friendly, not as user friendly in general, but it does work. So that's an alternative that you can look at. Facebook Marketplace, how many listings do you put up a day, Paul, in the beginning? I would just do a couple, like 2 to 3 per day for a few days to start out. You never want to scale up too quickly. You never want to scale up too quickly with it. You want to make sure that you are just moving at a nice steady clip with it. The marketplaces don't really like when you come in and add too many items too quickly. Yeah, you can look at SKUGrid if you're unhappy with AutoDS. I'm not sure how you're using it. If you're using it for Facebook, then it's not going to automatically update. It's going to email you when there's a change in the price or stock level. Then you have to update it yourself. How many hours have to go by before we can start putting up more listings? Yeah, I would just do it at the same time every day. So, 2 or 3 items your first day, and then same time the next day, and same time the next day. And I would just do that for like a few weeks, and then you can start doubling the number of listings that you're doing. There's really no set formula for it. All right, I think I answered that. It's the same thing for shops. All right, Relax Energy says, should we boost sales on Facebook? Okay. I wouldn't suggest that you boost your listings on Facebook. I think that's what you're asking, boosting your listings. So when you sell on Facebook Marketplace, you are able to list up the items organically. So it's free. You just list it up for sale. It doesn't charge you to list those items. But you can boost the listing, which will hopefully get you more sales. This is something that I haven't really found the need to mess around with because sales are organically good on Facebook Marketplace if you get everything else down in terms of finding the right products, doing title optimization and price optimization as well, then you should have enough sales organically. So I would focus on that. Boosting is something we might have to do in the future, just like with eBay, where we use it now, the their paid version, but we don't see the need to do with Facebook right now. Yes, so if you're drop shipping from retail sites, Amazon is one that doesn't really allow you to do it anymore. You used to be able to drop ship from Amazon using Amazon Prime, but Amazon started to shut down accounts that were doing that. There are some ways around it, but really it requires you to just constantly be opening new Amazon accounts, which if you're willing to do it, there's a lot of money to be made there. Or what you could do is set up auto ordering with AutoDS, and they can fulfill Amazon orders for you without having to worry about that stuff. John says he doesn't have the shipping option on Facebook Marketplace. That's what he's asking. So the shipping option, if you're not familiar with what it is, it's like this. So when you list up an item for sale on Facebook Marketplace, it says, how are you going to get the customer their item? And there's two options. There should be two options. The two options are local pickup, where if you sell the customer the item, you have to actually meet up in person and you hand them the item, they hand you cash, or ships to you. That's the shipping option. And with that, you can make the sale go entirely through Facebook. So someone will actually click a button on Facebook on your listing that says buy it, and then they'll enter in their credit card information. Facebook gets your money, you ship out the customer their item, and then you get paid by Facebook. So that is the ideal way to do it, because then you're actually doing drop shipping and not meeting up with them in person. But that shipping option is important for that. It really helps you get more sales. Without that shipping option, you can still do drop shipping. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult, but it is still possible. Now, new accounts don't have that shipping option. You have to wait. You have to have an aged account. So if you already have an existing Facebook account, that is the account that you want to use. Don't use a brand new account. Also, only certain countries will have it unlocked. So if you're here in the United States, definitely you're eligible for the shipping option. I'm not sure what the other countries are. I just know the United States does have it. And then finally, if you've had any sort of problems with your account, like if you've had your Facebook ads account shut down, if you've ever run Facebook ads, you will not have the shipping option either. So most people are just going to have the shipping option, because they have accounts already, they have Facebook accounts already. They've never had a problem with ads or never even ran ads, and they live in the United States. So that's going to be fine. But if you have a brand new account, then you will have to wait for that to be unlocked. And we're not really sure how long that does take, because it is different for everyone. Lorenzo, the only proxy that I've used successfully is IP Burger. You say it's expensive. I don't think it's expensive. Maybe you're using one of their different choices than I am. But I always found it to be reasonable. It was like $15 a month or something for it. But I've never used any of the other ones personally. I like IP Burger because it's a dedicated IP address that only I have, no one else has. And I can even get a fresh one that I know no one else has used for anything else. But the question really is why most people don't need a proxy like that. So don't use it if you don't need it. How can you tell how many listings your virtual puts up in a day? You can just have them keep a spreadsheet. So a spreadsheet should have the item that they listed, the name, a link to the supplier's website, and a link to the product itself in your store. So you can just click on it and see it. Way to go, John. Welcome to the Titans tribe. Do I mark my items up 50%? No, it depends on the supplier. It depends on the supplier and depends on the marketplace. So the question is, how much do we mark up our items? So this is something, I have a whole lesson on this, about this in my eBay course, a whole lesson about it in my Facebook course, because it really varies depending on the supplier and on the source that you use, because of things like sales tax and and also the supplier charges, the marketplace charges different fees. So you really have to know all that information and kind of calculate for all of that. I've answered this. It's probably not, it's not beginner friendly to dropship Amazon to eBay, but people are certainly doing it. My pleasure, Sabrina. Yeah, so Lorenzo wants to know, how do you keep your virtual assistants accountable for their work? Do you use a software? There is software out there. So the fear here that Lorenzo has is he hires these virtual assistants. They're virtual, so they're not here in his office or here in his home working. They're wherever they live, maybe in the Philippines. How does he make sure that they're actually doing the work that they're hired to do? Now, there's a couple of ways of thinking about this. I would say the old school mentality is the mentality that, okay, are they working the hours that they say that they're working and that they're supposed to be working? So most employers hire you to work a certain number of hours. That's not what I care about. I hire them, virtual assistants, to do the work. I don't care if it takes them 5 minutes or 12 hours. Well, I do care if it takes them 12 hours. That's way too much work. But the point is, I want them to finish the work and to do a great job with it. And if they're able to do that faster because they've gotten better at their job, because they found software that makes their job easier, whatever it is, I don't care. As long as the work gets done, that is what I care about. So there is software out there that it's called like a time tracking software, where it doesn't screen record the entire time, but it will randomly, periodically take screenshots of what's on the screen. And if you scroll through that and see, they're on that's a bad example. They're on Instagram right now goofing off, or they're on YouTube watching videos when they're supposed to be working, then you can catch them not working when they're supposed to be. Or hopefully you go in and just see that they are doing their job all day. But again, I'm not going to babysit my virtual assistants like that. All my virtual assistants are great. I trust them and they get the work done. So all I care about is the end product there? Are they listing up products? Are orders being fulfilled? Are customers happy? All of that stuff. That is all that I care about. I'm going to treat them like the adults that they are. If they want to take a break, that's fine, because I know that they're going to get the work done. So have them keep a spreadsheet showing all the whatever it is that they're doing. If they're listing up items, they can keep track of all the items that they're listing. If they're fulfilling orders, they can keep track of all the orders they're fulfilling. And then I just have them send me a message at the end of the day saying, hey, Paul, this is what I did today. And just quickly, in a couple of sentences, tell me everything that they did that day. And that's all I care about. Everything's getting done. Great, man. Thanks for coming. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I have tons of videos, so make sure to check out anything you have questions about. I'm sure I have a video about. Good evening, Kevin says from Lakeland, Florida. What is up? I've been there many times myself. I love Lakeland. I love most of Florida. Jack, what is up? Walter says, Paul, do you recommend listing the same products across 2 marketplaces or multiple marketplaces? Yeah, generally, why not, Walter? There are multiple ways to do product research for Facebook Marketplace, multiple different ways. But one of the ways that we do it is we look to see what products are popular on eBay, which is also the way we do product research for eBay. So if you do that process and you find an item that's selling well, list it for sale on eBay and list it for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Why not list it into both places and see what sticks, see what works? Conversely, if an item is selling well in either marketplace, list it for sale in the other one, because then it might do well there as well. It's a good indicator, I would say. It's a good indicator if an item's selling well in one place, that it will also sell well somewhere else on the internet. But it's not perfect, okay? There's different customers in different markets. So it's not a foolproof kind of rule of thumb, just a rule of thumb. I'm only getting people to buy my item once and then no one buys it after that. So Shiv, make sure that you are relisting that item or you're upping the quantity back up so that it is there and available for sale again. But I'm not sure what marketplace it's on, but it should sell again if it already sold once. Yeah, this is something I go over. How do you make your conversion rate really high and make the most money back? Yeah, it's really about just finding the right products. Learning how to really source the right products, get them into your store. That's really what matters more than anything else. So what you don't want to do, John, is you don't want to do this. John says, is the best beginner strategy to straight up spam different items on different marketplaces? Is it the more the merrier? The more the merrier, yes, but not just spam. You really want to do product research. You really want to find items that are already popular and sell those same or substantially similar items. So it's not just listing up anything and everything and seeing what sticks. It's about really doing product research, getting in there, learning how product research works, pulling out those golden products, listing them up for sale yourself, and then doing more of those products, more of those winning gold products. Hey, what is up, UK? Roadrunners Bargain from the UK. Z-Red says, what's a better supplier to start with, Amazon or Walmart? If you're going to use one of those two to start, I would do Walmart. I wouldn't start with Amazon. It's a pain these days. Walmart is a much safer choice if you're going to start. Reese says, hey, Paul, does your dropshipping course have a video on wholesale dropshipping? I will do you one better, Reese. It has a whole course. I have a whole course on how to do wholesale dropshipping. Now, I made this course, I think last year. And when I made it, I was going to sell it separately. I was going to charge like $500, $1,000 for it or something like that. But I just gave it for free to all the existing members of my eBay dropshipping course, the retail dropshipping course. So that course is $297. It's still $297. And if you join now, in the first module, I say, hey, click this link and you instantly get access to that whole second course about how to do wholesale dropshipping. So you get two courses for less than the price of the more expensive one. Does that make sense? You get both courses for one, 2 for 1, BOGO. Hey, Paul, AutoDS or SKU-Grid, any opinions, says Jock. I like AutoDS. I think it's very user-friendly, but I've also used SKU-Grid, and I really like that one too. It's just difficult to use. It's really technical. It's more like you're dealing with kind of like spreadsheets. AutoDS is just a little bit more better user interface, I would say. But they both work. And AutoDS has some really nice features I like too. Michael says, what are some good cheap items to list to get sales fast? I have 3,000 items, higher price, but not a lot of success. Yeah, I mean, just start listing, just do the product research and list up any cheaper items. More expensive items will take longer to sell, be harder to sell. Cheaper items are more impulsively purchased. They are easier to move. So just do the research and just list up any cheaper items. And then we get enough of those, you're going to see that they do start to sell. Dropshipping is time consuming. I don't know about that. In any business you start, it's going to take you time when you get started. It's going to take you an investment of your time in order to get it up and running. Personally, I'm glad I spent so much time in 2017 when I started, because it has unlocked this whole world for me of other ways to make money online. And I've been able to quit my job, travel full time for 2 years, move wherever I wanted to move. I wasn't tied down to one location. I'm not spending a ton of time on it now because I have a system and virtual assistants and software running it for me. So it is what you make of it, man. But that's not the way I would look at it. I use one virtual assistant per store. I used to do it differently where I had multiple per store. It got very confusing and unorganized. One per store. And if that store gets really big and unmanageable for that one virtual assistant, then you can have them hire another virtual assistant. Yes, you'll pay that other virtual assistant, but the second one will work under the first one. The first one will still be in charge of the whole thing to stay organized. What kind of software can easily ship the product directly to the customer easily? Okay, I'll say this again. Order fulfillment is the easiest part of dropshipping. All you're doing is getting the address from eBay, getting the address from Facebook Marketplace, ordering the item from Walmart, Amazon, from your wholesale supplier, and telling them, don't ship it to me, ship it to this address. That is it. It's very, very simple. And there's Chrome extensions like Ship and Paste that will actually, Spot and Paste rather, that will actually copy the address from eBay, from Facebook Marketplace, and paste it into the shipping address fields of your supplier's website. So all you have to do is click one button and it copies that information over. So that can save you a ton of time right there. Yeah. What's the difference between drop shipping from wholesale suppliers and from places like Walmart or Costco? So there's a few differences. I have a couple of videos on this for something more in depth, but Walmart is a retailer. So when you're buying from them, you're getting them at retail prices, which is the highest price you can buy it for. When you're buying from wholesale, so the way it works is the product is produced by a manufacturer, manufactured, then it's sold to a wholesale supplier or distributor, and then it's sold to the retail stores like Walmart. Every step, it gets more expensive. It's cheap here for them to make it. They sell it at a profit, they sell it at a profit, and then Walmart sells it at a profit. So it's just continually getting more expensive. So if you buy from a wholesale supplier, you're going to get it for pretty much as cheap as you can get it for. So you get it there, it's going to be cheaper, but you actually have to get that relationship with that wholesale supplier. So there is a process for doing that. There is more upfront time you need to invest, some steps you have to do to get set up as a business, to get that connection. So it does take you a little bit more time to do that. But it's worth it because you get the better pricing. But the problem is that this wholesale supplier you're working with might have 200 items. This other one might have 150 items. This other one might have 500 items. But Walmart has millions of items. So when you start dropshipping from Walmart, you instantly get access to millions of items. Whereas with each wholesale supplier, you have to form relationships with several of them just to get enough items, because not even all those items are going to be good ones. So it is more work, but once you get it set up, it is well worth it. Hey, what is up? Roadrunner Bargains says, thanks for the super chat, man. Really appreciate that. Says, hi, Paul, you drop shipping legend. Hi from the UK. Watching you while processing tracking numbers and orders. Awesome. Would you recommend your course for a UK drop shipper? Thanks. I do have plenty of students in the course who are from the UK and have been successful. But with that said, the course is designed for people who live here in the United States. So I haven't logged into ebay.uk. I'm not familiar with it. So being upfront and honest about that, I don't have kind of like the intricacies of what good suppliers to use from the UK. But again, I've had many students take what I teach and adapt it for the UK market very successfully. So it's hope that's a good answer. Hey, what's up, Marjorie? Erica, what's a good number of products to list? As many as you can. I mean, again, at first, scale up slowly. Don't scale up too quickly. But eventually, you want to list up as many good items as you can. But it's really about product research and finding the best items, good items to actually list. How old do you have to be to dropship? I think you have to be 18 on eBay. Marjorie says, I found a Rockstar VA. Thank you, Paul, for your VA course. That's awesome. So happy to hear that. It really makes a huge difference, doesn't it, Marjorie? It's like such a game changer. Boot says, how often do products that sell well on your stores die down in a short or long amount of time? Thanks. It's pretty random. I've had items that have done really well and then quickly died off, and have other items that have never died off and it just continued to sell well for years and years. So it is pretty random, to be honest. Obviously, things like seasonal items, you're going to see that quick spike and then dip in sales, right? So think around Christmas, selling Christmas trees. You're going to sell a lot of them in November and December. In January, you're not going to sell that many Christmas trees. So things like that. Jib Jab says, have you ever used Fulfilled by AutoDS? Is it a good idea for eBay dropshipping? So what is Fulfilled by AutoDS first? So AutoDS, there's multiple ways that you can use it for eBay. One is a fully automated method where it actually connects to eBay through the API, and you can list items into AutoDS and it automatically lists them to eBay. It will automatically reprice and restock, and it can actually pull orders from eBay and automatically order them for you, but only for certain suppliers like Amazon. Now, that's not the way I use AutoDS, because I don't like full automation, mainly because I don't like the connection with eBay's API. I rather have something manual where eBay doesn't know I'm using software. So we use AutoDS a little bit differently, where it actually alerts us to price and stock level changes, and then we change those on eBay ourselves. So it's more like a semi-manual method. So I've never used the Fulfilled by AutoDS feature because that's not available with the way that I use it. But I do know people that use it. AutoDS swears that it's a really great kind of system that will auto-fulfill for you. But I can't say that I've used it myself because I haven't. That's not the way I use AutoDS. Rabbi says, what's the best strategy to use when you only have a selling limit of 3 items? First of all, I'd call eBay, because a selling limit of 3, it shouldn't be that low. It should be at least 5. And even then, they usually raise it pretty quickly if it's only 5. But if you have a limit of only 3, or a low limit at all, then I would focus on cheap items. And again, really make sure you're doing product research. Find products that are selling really well, that are really cheap, because they will sell faster. And the more items that you can sell, then you can call eBay and say, hey, I've been selling items, doing well, please increase my limit, and then they'll start to increase your limit. How long does it take to get a lot of sales? That really depends on you. I've had students who've made many sales their first month, and others that takes them a few months, but then they do exceptionally well after that. So it's really up to you. One of my students, his very first sale, he made about $250 profit, for instance. But other people, it does take a little bit longer for them to get set up and running. You can dropship on eBay US if you're not from the United States, but it is a bit of a challenge. There are some extra steps you have to do. Again, I live in the United States, so that's the experience I have. I don't really have experience setting up a eBay.com account from outside the United States. Can you use ArbiShip for auto ordering and then AutoDS for listing and pricing monitoring? I believe so, but again, that uses full API, which is something that I don't use. But I don't see why that wouldn't work. Actually, I do see why that wouldn't work, because ArbiShip wouldn't know where the item was being listed from. You see, when you list the item through like AutoDS, you put in the URL for the item from like Walmart. It will then, AutoDS will then list that item to eBay for you. Or let's use Amazon example. So you put in the Amazon URL. AutoDS will then list that item onto eBay for you. And then if someone orders that item, it will then order that item from Amazon. And it knows to order that item because you had already put in the URL for it. But if you use two different softwares for two different parts of that, ArbiTrip is not going to know which item to order. So I don't think that would work. What problems are you having with delete and relist on Facebook Marketplace? Let me know. Are there other ways for eBay to advertise your listings on eBay besides promoted listings? Nothing that I know of, like ads on eBay. I mean, there are ads on eBay, but it really doesn't make sense to put your items on there. Only thing that really makes sense to use is promoted listings. Okay, Mason wants to know, if I'm doing retail drop shipping, where else can I do it besides eBay and Facebook Marketplace? So eBay and Facebook Marketplace are probably the two most popular places for a reason. They really cater to it. It really works well with it. There are other places people do it, like Mercari, but I haven't seen anyone being really that successful with it. I mean, obviously making some money, but nothing really that really stands out to me. But I could be mistaken about that, but not from what I've seen. So eBay and Facebook Marketplace are really the two places you want to start. That's interesting. That's interesting. So I'm not going to stand here and pretend like I know everything, especially when it comes to these marketplaces and all their secrets. But Marjorie says, I had a Facebook account. I had a Facebook account for a while, and I didn't have the shipping option. I created a new account, and that one does have the shipping option. So I don't know. Take Marjorie's advice, start a new Facebook account, and see if you have the shipping option. But I have no idea why it's so random sometimes. Are you still living in West Palm Beach, Florida? No, I haven't lived there for about 3 years now. I live in Colorado now. But I did love it there. I do miss a lot of things about Florida. I love the ocean. I love no sales tax. I'm sorry, no income tax. But yeah, it was pretty hot there. It got hot in the summers. And I really like Colorado because I can go outside all year long. I love skiing, mountains, biking, hiking. And I do miss the ocean, but I can always go back. I don't miss hurricanes either. Please smash that thumbs up button. Thanks so much, Mr. Policies. If I need a day off, would I need to hire a virtual assistant? No, not necessarily. I'm just saying, if you want a day off and you want your store to continue running while you have a day off, that's totally possible with a virtual assistant or a team of virtual assistants even, or just one. If you want a day off, again, you just have to increase prices, increase shipping and handling times, and do that before you take the day off. Or just, if it's one day off, take a day off. You know, it's not going to hurt anything if you get to customers' questions the day after that, fulfill orders the day after that. One day is not a big deal. Been selling camping products really well. Job on it, guys and girls. Awesome. Yeah, I have been talking about camping products every single month for the past couple months. In my videos, I release close to the first of every month. I release a video where I say, hey, these are the products that you should sell this month. I have had one for June, one for July, one for August. And I've been talking during the summer about camping because camping products sell really well during this time of year. I haven't heard of Zen Dropper. It sounds vaguely familiar, but I might be confusing with something else. Let me look this up. Zen Dropper. No, I haven't seen this one. No. I'll take a look at it when I'm done. Can I create a good example of a good title? I'm not going to do that right now, but I have plenty of videos where I do that. Maybe I'll make one specifically for that. That'd be a good video topic, maybe. Kind of confused on the pricing guide of AutoDS. What do you mean? Like the plans that you set up? Is that what you mean? Like the price of the plans or the price of your products? Steve says, I'm just about to get your course and start dropshipping. Any beginner advice? Just follow the system, Steve. I've been doing this for over 5 years. I've taught many people how to dropship. I was doing one-on-one coaching for a while, and then group coaching, and then the course. And the course, as it stands now, is a product of all of that information, all of that, and just talking to people every day about dropshipping. I know it works. I know it doesn't work. I know where people get hung up. I know where people get confused. And the right thing to do is to stay on the right path. So just follow that path. Just follow exactly what I teach you to do in the course to a T, and you should be fine. Can you list any items on eBay or items that have sold already? You can list anything you want on eBay, but I wouldn't list anything unless it is someone else on eBay has already sold it or sold a product that's very similar to it. I wouldn't waste your time with anything else. Hey, what's up, Alvin from Tampa? I love Tampa too. I love St. Pete, Tampa, that whole area. Now this makes me want to go back to Florida, but not in August. I'm not going back to Florida in August. I'll wait till November or December. Okay. Do I recommend CJ dropshipping? No, not really, because I don't dropship from China. It takes too long for customers to get their orders. John says, you mentioned Chrome extensions. I assume you recommend using Chrome as opposed to Firefox, Explorer, etc. Yeah, I like Chrome because it works with, there's several things I like about Chrome, but one of them is Chrome extensions. If you're unhappy with Google's invasion of privacy, you can look at things like Brave browser. Brave browser, I think, is a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? More private, but you can still use Chrome extensions with it. So you can take a look at that. Yeah, thanks everyone for being here. I don't have an e-commerce account specifically. I just have an accountant that works with me. All right, guys. So I know we're not quite at the hour, but I'm going to call it there because I'm losing my voice a little bit. I forgot to fill up on water, and I'm going out to go hiking. So I got to start preparing to leave for that. But thanks everyone for hanging out and asking such great questions. If you guys have any questions that weren't answered, make sure to join me during next week's live Q&A. I do them every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Mountain time, 1 p.m. California time. So come ask any questions. You ask them right away. I'll see them right away. We don't always get to all the questions. But thanks everyone for hanging out. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.